up there. So we had a hard start time 10.
As far as I know, if everybody is here.
I just want to make sure it's not correct.
Oh, yes. Please and thank you. I haven't met the other lady, so I don't know if they're going to do this. Ideally, team, they have to go back there.
I'll find out where the rest of them are. Naomi and Chandra and
I don't think so necessarily. I think it's a combination of different museums, right?
Mhm.
So, different museums and the
5
community.
different museums.
Right, so
Yeah.
it's not just this museum, it's location. For my understanding.
What's your name?
I could be.
I'm sitting there. I'm like,
I'll take that.
and I didn't know you would do that. I didn't know you were going to do that. That's good to see y'all just like focus on getting all her stuff together, and I didn't get there either. How about that? Never laid eyes on her. But I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, can we send it like that? This is here, or is it,
Hey, Naomi, just one.
No, this one. or whatever that is?
That's an iPad, that's her iPad.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's gonna be.
You can do here, right? Probably. Here you come this way.
Video chat.
Who's with the museum? I'm the planner for the museum.
What's your name?
Charles. Can you? Can I talk to the museum?
All right, well, we'll see you when you get here. Chandra just walked out.
All right.
Okay. All right.
There we can provide.
No, ma'am. All right. Okay.
This is more.
One of the museum owners just walked in, letting go, and the other two are 10 minutes away.
I can get this. Yeah, I can sign up. No, I'm fine. No, just set up and then I can come back.
And
Just get on. Oh, that's just moving, get some people.
Yeah.
So you just set up and then I can set up.
Okay, okay.
Good morning.
I don't know how long that people are getting all of this, just seeing them.
How do you do that?
You went all the way back, like, it cost me, mackerel, Okay, all right.
I had to go to Bridgeview before this, really. From Hyde Park to Bridgeview, and then back here from Bridgeview.
So your vodka is set up to say, it says live in 8 minutes, and I had set it up earlier. So I think so. We just have to pay attention. I think it's gonna just. Oh, man, how you
Nice little mill worker.
I did.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So then to go either to yours or mine.
Thank you.
I'm Sajdah, Wendy, Muhammad, we are.
Good. I did. I wasn't trying to do that. I don't know. Dr. Hughes?
Oh, I know, I know.
Pullman stuff. Hang on, I'll give you a slide, hang on. I'll take text it to you. Yeah, just started, I'll text it to you. Just got Black History Museums.
Little bit. A little bit lost.
So for those who, okay, for those who are part are gonna be over
Yeah.
there? Okay.
So let's go ahead and take our places, ladies. Are we live? Yep, okay.
Would you wanna put your phone over here?
Don't you agree?
So I think
So
she's.
welcome and thank you everyone for coming here today. I'm Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, the owner and proprietor of the Elijah Muhammad House. We are founding members of the Coalition of Black House Museums, and our other sisters are going to be coming live here just in a couple of minutes. So I just wanted to extend that welcome and thank you all for responding to us. Thank you for letting us know that we matter here at the Coalition of Black House Museums. So Dr. Lynn Hughes is going to open for us. She is actually on her way down. If all of our other museum owners can take our places back here, and we can get ready to get started.
Amelia.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
That's all fine. Just go.
Thanks. Thank you. Did you ever hear what said?
You got beautiful and perfect all the same day.
Yes.
You guys smile. Oh.
Is Dr. Hughes on her way? Does anybody know? Dr. Hughes, not you.
Dr. Jewel?
Yes, she's coming.
Good morning.
Come on in, Dr. Hughes. We are ready.
Oh, that's okay. This is Dr. Hughes. Dr. Hughes, this is my mom. Hi. Amelia. How are you doing? And I'm Chandra. Yeah.
You are.
She's a great storyteller. So I'm excited.
Dr. Hughes, you ready to get started?
I am. Does anybody have a question for me so I can let me see what?
Nope.
We're off the cuff, but we're gonna be good.
All right, just hang on 1 second, group.
Did we did a check-in to see where, how far Naomi is before I know we're starting?
I just texted her.
Okay. I think what we can do is we can all circle back around and hopefully she'll come.
Yeah.
I know these guys are on a tight schedule today. They're on a very tight schedule, so we wanna make sure we're.
And then you can just bring us on in the order over there. I'll stand over here next to JoAnn. We'll go from there.
Okay. So start with Wendy, then JoAnn, then we'll go last and then Naomi.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, let's get this party started. Good morning and welcome. We we want to thank you for giving us your time and attending, your attention to this important announcement. I want to welcome you to the National Lakeville Randolph Recording Museum, proud residents. Here, 27 years old, and I am very proud and honored to be a part of this coalition. I think you're going to be hearing a lot from us. And so my instructions were to welcome you, and I've done that. And I want to introduce members of the coalition. First is Wendy Muhammad and JoAnn Tate from Wheatley House. Sajdah's house is Wendy Muhammad's location. And Chandra
Cooper from Muddy Waters Mojo.
Muddy Waters Mojo house.
And Naomi's right behind you.
And Naomi Tate. Good morning, my sister. And she is the proud owner of the Material House that you're going to be hearing a lot about. And so that's our introduction, and we will get started.
I'll start giving Naomi time to breathe.
Right.
Okay. So welcome. We are the Coalition of Black House Museums. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for giving us press. You all know that as Muslims, we greet everyone. We say, peace be unto you, or assalamu alaikum. So I'd like to extend that peace over to you all today. Thank you, Dr. Hughes, and the staff at the A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum, the National A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum, which is where we are today. Thank you for your generous hospitality and camaraderie. Thank you to all of you all who have come here and show us that preservation matters, we matter as preservationists, urban historic preservationists. So thank you to my sisters, fellow coalition members. You'll be hearing from them today. I'm Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I'm the owner of the Elijah Muhammad House, also known as Sajdah House. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam. He built a nation from what is today known as the Elijah Muhammad House, or Sajdah House at 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue. You might be asking, why does the house have two names? Well, Sajdah in Arabic means prayer or adoration. And I named the house initially in honor of the many prayers and connection to God that have led me to my own personal success. And at first, I really was not sure if we could renovate a 120-year-old mansion that has sat vacant for decades, so that it would represent and be able to wear his name. And once we were certain of that, we decided then, okay, it can be the Elijah Muhammad House. So we call it Sajdah House. You can also call it officially the Elijah Muhammad House. Just a really quick, and what we're gonna do today, we're gonna all introduce ourselves. We're gonna talk to you about the ancestors that we pay homage to with our house museums. So I want to say a couple words to you today about Elijah Muhammad, many of them that you may not know. For those of you who don't know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed a true friend, not only of America, but especially of Black men and women. His influence is felt around the world today and is embedded in the pride that we all speak of here today. So he is one of the architects of the Black pride that fuels us for setting up these museums in the first place. He worked, suffered, studied, and constantly prayed for our rise. He sacrificed his own personal life to devote 44 years to the rise of our people. He single-handedly, with tenaciousness of will and singleness of purpose, turned the language of America from the use of the word Negro, which means something dead, lifeless, or hard, into seeing ourselves as Black people, members of the Aboriginal nation of the earth. He turned our hearts toward Africa and our brothers and sisters in the isles of the Pacific, Central, and South America, and the Caribbean. His wisdom showed us the connection between the Native Americans and their membership in the Aboriginal nation of the earth. He, more than any other religious leader, is responsible for causing us to refer to one another as brothers and sisters. He caused new levels of scholarship in the research of history of the Black man and into the nature and birth record of mankind. He inspired research into melanin and its presence or absence and its effect on our thought processes. He taught us how to eat to live, causing us to throw away medicines and become health conscious. His teachings on this subject began the process of the proud beautification of our people. He started the process of reformation of the Black woman, without which there would be no new people. He showed us the value of a proper education and was a pioneer in the establishment of an independent school system that reflected the same. He demonstrated the proper use of money by establishing for his followers farmland, banks, businesses, airplanes and airport facilities, international trade and commerce. You name it, he did it because of his love for us. He saw and cultivated our greatness. His divine influence can be seen around the world. Today, many in the world capitalize off of our culture. Let's face it, Black people are so dope. We're so creative and so ingenious. Our pain and suffering has produced inventions and the culture that the world follows and that the world mimics today. Our culture has become the world's culture. Let me give you one quick example. Hip hop, for example, our urban street sounds that were rejected and despised at first has now become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Back in 2016, the hip hop market grew to $16 billion and controls over 30% of the music market, and its influence is only going up. Rock and roll has its roots in the blues. You'll hear a little bit about that today from my sister Chandra, and she's going to talk about her great-grandfather, Muddy Waters. Has its roots in the blues and jazz genres invented by our Black cultural icons. But many of the neighborhoods where our history was made and everyday houses in urban areas around the country have now become a vortex of violence. We want you to help us with pride and instill pride in our culture to transition out of that vortex of violence. We want to spark a Black cultural renaissance, starting right here in Chicago, in our communities around the world. We want to spark a renewed self-interest and preservation of our culture. We want to cultivate radical changes in the ideas about our culture. We want to lead a cultural renaissance in our community. Urban historic preservation is a critical aspect of activating cultural economic development in our communities. We must begin to tell our own stories. That's what this is all about. We must begin to control the narrative, and we must begin to monetize our own culture. These sacred spaces deserve our honor and attention. They deserve to be preserved. To support the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you can visit us at sajdahhouse.com. Follow us on Instagram at Sajdah. And if you're anywhere in the country and you need our help to preserve and acquire these sacred spaces, we are here for you. Let's make sure that our neighborhoods become renaissance, cultural renaissance, instead of the vortex of violence. So I'm going to bring on my sister, who I'm going on name, Naomi? Chandra. Okay, this is Chandra Cooper. She is the founder and president of the Muddy Waters Mojo Museum. So she's going to come right up, along with her beautiful mother.
Yes, yes. So I thought it was very significant that I bring my mother along with me today because she has helped me from the very beginning in this preservation journey. And so many years ago, over 20 years ago, I simply asked my mother to help me save this house. And she was one of the only people in my family who believed in my dream and in my vision. And she helped me financially be able to secure one of our first loans to save the house. And so I thank you today, and I honor you publicly and always privately for just supporting me in this overall vision that we have. And she's so significant to our journey because she is the only living person who actually lived in that house. And so thank you. And so just briefly, I just wanted to speak to everybody very just short, just about Muddy Waters, AKA McKinley Morganfield. The man, the vision, the dream. He is the epitome of the American dream. This man was a sharecropper in Mississippi. He had a dream to sing. He had a dream to be bigger than just on the fields singing. And he made his journey through the migration to Chicago. And in being here, started on the west side of Chicago, and then eventually went to the south side. But he's the American dream because he knew what he wanted. He knew how he wanted to go about to get it. He knew how his family was so important to him. He knew about being what we call now Black excellence. He knew about that early on. When you saw him and you see pictures, all you see him is meticulously dressed from head to toe, and how he represented himself and how he represented his family. He was a man though. Let's not get that taken. He was a man, and sometimes he called himself a rolling stone. It didn't matter if he was a rolling stone or not. He was a family man. He was about his business. He was about protecting his family and making sure that the legacy of the blues continued. And he did that significantly by allowing blues members and people to perform and practice in his basement. So we have a very sacred space at 4339 Southland Park Avenue with that house and with the storytelling that will go along with it. You know, the Muddy Waters and his platform is not just a Chicago thing, even though he's called the King of Chicago Blues. He is also an international figure. And so we want support and we want the continued respect that's due to who he is and what we will present to the community and to the world in the Muddy Waters Mojo Museum. So I thank you for being here and understanding the importance of this. And as I wear my Black African-American gear and my African gear to celebrate African-American History Month, we also honor these people that we consider Black excellent figures that need to be honored in preservation spaces. Thank you so much. And so now we'd like to call up JoAnn Tate, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Hello, how are you today? Black women as the cornerstone of wholesome lifestyle development. Many Black women receive lifestyle development at my home, the Phyllis Wheatley home. It's at 5128 South Michigan. It is 125 years old. It was constructed May 25th, 1896. This home is located in Bronzeville, one of the oldest, most historical neighborhoods in Chicago. It was named Phyllis Wheatley Home because Phyllis Wheatley was a prominent Black woman. She actually wrote a poem at 33, and it was the first Black poem to be published. It was a charitable organization founded by Elizabeth Lindsay Davis. There were 3 homes, but our home is the only home left. We plan to create a transformation oasis for Black women because culturally, Black women back in the days represented our development. I can remember as a child, the grandmothers, the mothers, the aunties, the sisters, the cousins, everybody came out if there was something wrong with your child and redirected them in the right direction. So we must start doing that again. We gotta start speaking up. We've gotta come from behind that door. The Phyllis Wheatley home holds the memories of countless Black women who migrated from the negativity of the South to build a positive and productive life in Chicago. The Phyllis Wheatley home is surely imperative to identify Chicago's Black history. It will allow a pathway to make it possible for all to understand the past and use it to continue work today. We envision the Phyllis Wheatley home becoming a beacon for lifestyle development for the community, for Black women, because we have to change. We have to change our culture, our tradition, our character. We have to represent what our ancestors represented. Black women must depict the utmost character, providing this example of the community to follow. We must set that example to change our community. lifestyle to take our community out of destruction. Our goal is to create a wholesome and encouraging environment for developing healthy people and strong communities, to promote personal and community development, disease prevention, intervention, and health restoration, spirit, mind, and body strengthening, relaxation and stress reduction, business entrepreneurship, training and development, and Black culture values. The Phyllis Wheatley Home Group will present their first annual Juneteenth event on Sunday, June 19th at the Phyllis Wheatley Home Culture Garden, which is now called the New Front Porch. Because when I came up, when we had problems, everybody came to the front porch. Thank you.
Greetings, cousins. As you can see, master class is in session. I'm Naomi Davis, and I come from white gloves and mud. The proud granddaughter of Mississippi sharecroppers, who like 7 million others voted with their feet and moved up south for freedom and economic opportunity. One such family, grounded in love of family, sent one little boy south for the summer, back in 1955. Well, I was born the day before Emmett Till was murdered. And my beloved family grew up 13 miles as the crow flies from Money, Mississippi, where he was slaughtered. This is personal. This is pride. This is heritage. And this is Black love. Black love sent that child south to be inside of his culture, in the bosom of his family, and understanding the dangers that awaited. We nevertheless lived our love. We want to say here today, in honor of our ancestors who love us so much, who shine on us at this moment, and who hold our hearts in place where our minds can find them, that we are grateful beyond measure for the sacrifices that they made out of love for us, the unborn, that they could live their lives as chattel, that they could worship a creator in spite of every abuse, in spite of the lynchings, in spite of the castrations, in spite of the rapes, in spite of the sex camps, in spite of the torture, in spite of the Middle Passage, in spite of the day in, day out, free to others. But what is the cost of a soul? We are indestructible people. Know this. We stand here today ready to hand off to the next generation through the works that we're focused on right now, that the next generation shall understand the power that created them. The Great Migration is America's greatest underreported story. And we are here today in the house that built the Great Migration, you might say. The Pullman Porter legacy is perhaps the most powerful commodity in the breaking free, the seeking liberation in modern times of African American people. So we thank Dr. Hughes and her enshrinement of that legacy here today. And we're here to say, in the house of Pullman, in the house of A. Philip Randolph, in the house of Dr. Lynn Hughes, we will not be moved. We understand the value of our cultural heritage. We understand how we have been moved from chattel slavery to the new Jim Crow. We recognize how the dignity, the genius, the creativity, the work ethic, the largesse of our people who moved here and built cities across America have never received the thanks, the gratitude, the recognition, or the monetization deserved. Nevertheless, we say and declare today a day of triumph for the African American. I am Naomi Davis. I am the founder and the CEO of Blacks in Green. We are the authors of the Sustainable Square Mile, the 8 Principles of Green Village Building, and as a woman of a certain age, I am being called into the creation of the new Black community we call the Sustainable Square Mile Walkable Village, where Black families can walk to work, walk to shop, walk to learn, and walk to play, where Black people own the businesses, own the land, and live the conservation lifestyle. And in that context, didn't we just discover one of the many hidden jewels sitting naked, awaiting what? In our walkable village of West Woodlawn, none other than the home of Emmett and Mamie Till Mobley. I want to say blight has been normalized in our community. We're here to turn that around. We've seen our little boys and girls walk past the Emmett and Mamie Till Mobley house, not understanding, not recognizing. It's just another broke down house in the hood, not recognizing the seed of glory that still gestates there. We're here to bring that glory into full fruition with the Emmett and Mamie Till Mobley House Museum, Garden, and Theater, with a sculptural commission by the internationally renowned Richard Hunt, who in fact grew up in West Woodlawn. We announced that commission at Mamie's 100th birthday party jazz brunch at the Green Living Room, our headquarters at 6431 33 South Cottage Grove Avenue. And we're here to say we are open for business in spirit and in fact coming. This spring, we will be launching our big heritage tour company. We will be inviting people on Juneteenth to the Till House for a celebration. We are the recipients of a $250,000 Adopt a Landmark grant from the City of Chicago, as is Chandra and Muddy Waters Mojo Museum. And we are beginning restoration of the exterior this spring. I want to thank Horizon Therapeutics for their generous gift to help us begin a deep tissue community outreach. We must reach our youth, and so we shall. Here's the word to remember about Mamie and Emmett, about those of us who are here at the front lines of environmental and economic justice. Here's the word to remember. It is triumph. This is who we are. Thank you.
Close us out. You have such beautiful words. I know you want to tell us.
I'm both humbled and in awe of what is happening here today.
Thank you.
It is emotional for me because 29 years ago when I came to this community, and I was struck by the pervasive poverty that I saw in the children I had no intention. It was not my intent to start a museum. Just being honest. I was looking for real estate. I wanted to invest in real estate. I transplanted here in Chicago from Cincinnati, Ohio. And someone told me that if I were looking for real estate, that I should go to Pullman. I had not been in Chicago long enough to know what Pullman was, but I began to venture out. And I remember something that she said to me, go to the North End, because it's not taken care of like the South End, and you can get property cheap. I heard that, but it didn't resonate until I drove to this community and parked my car outside at 817 East 104th Street. While I was sitting there, I saw 3 little boys standing on the corner, and they were looking at me like I just landed out of a spaceship. And I thought, I had this eerie feeling, but it was emotional. It was like something was tugging at my heart. I got out of the car and went in and introduced myself. Then they were really blown away, like an adult coming to talk to us. But they said to me, do you have any fruit? That was a really strange question. Did I have any fruit? And I said, well, no, I don't. And why do you ask? They said, well, we just wanted to have some fruit. Where do you live? Where do you come from? What's your name? But when I realized that they were hungry for conversation, they were hungry for someone to pay attention to them in a community that they lived that was enshrined in poverty. I made a decision at that instant. I won't say I made a decision because I believe there was divine intervention and the Spirit dropped that on me. I could not shake that feeling. I still get emotional, as you can probably hear when I talk about it. It literally changed the trajectory of my life. I ended up buying 3 buildings, and like she said, I paid $7,500 for the building that you're standing in. The other buildings I got for $5,000. I had 3. I had 3 children, so I bought 1 for each.
Amen.
I had no idea that I was going to start a museum, but once I realized that it was a historic community, I didn't know anything about Pullman porters, but as I began to get that information, what I realized is that the people in this community had no connection, no cultural connection. I then took the task on excavating the connection to their culture. And while the Pullman porters did not live in Pullman because we weren't allowed to, the restricted covenant, they worked, the men worked. And as I delved deeper into that history, I understood that men who migrated from the South right out of slavery, the best job that they could get was a job on the railroad. It was a coveted job. Along came a man by the name of A. Philip Randolph, who lived in Harlem. He did not live in Chicago, but he was a magazine publisher. He began to write about their plight, and the news about the Pullman porters spread across the country. I was so touched by that. I made a conscious decision, and again, I'm taking that, it wasn't me, it was God. This building, I decided that I was going to create a museum that represented the culture of the African American people in this community, and particularly focused, aimed at the children. And we are now celebrating our 27th anniversary in a couple of weeks, the existence of this place.
Amen.
For 2+ decades, we existed in this place because people didn't understand what I was doing, and I always felt alone, which is why I love these women. Because when I started, there was no one that I could go and talk to about starting a museum. People thought I was crazy. We're not supported by federal funds, city, state, or federal, all these years. And people say, well, how do you do that? I can't explain it because it wasn't my idea to create the museum anyway.
Praise God.
But we have touched children, those that you call at risk. We touch them when they come. every year we get interns. We call them interns, but they're not old enough to be interns. But we get interns, and our president, who's a young black man, David Peterson, he touches those children. And in the summer, we get 20. We work with After School Matters to fund them. And the first check that those kids got, they were literally in here dancing when they're waving their check when they had a check. But we have touched on something. In the black community, our culture has been the glue that has held our families together for generations. Somewhere along the way, we allowed, when I say allowed, we allowed the system to remove the pride in our culture from our community and from our children. The manifestation of that is what you see every day when you turn on the TV and a young black man shot another black man, or a young black man, and now girls. What do you call it? Hijacking or carjacking and hurting people. That's on us. We allowed that to happen. And so with the emergence of this coalition, I feel something so very strong. I am encouraged because I feel energy like me, who has made a conscious decision to use culture, our culture, take it back, monetize it, use it to our advantage, just like everybody else is doing with our culture that we're not benefiting from. And like my sister Naomi said, this stops. It's stopping now. It's stopping with us. Yes. Because we're going to show the way how to use our culture to restore and reclaim our communities. Reinsert that community pride that is so desperately needed. Our children think they're worthless. Yes. And that's our fault. We allowed it to happen. That's right. That's right. And so, pardon my emotional outburst.
All right.
But it's here and it just came out. And so I cannot tell you how much we appreciate your taking the time to come and capture this very special moment. Because I can guarantee you, you have not heard the last of this group.
All right. All right.
Question, Dr. Hughes. You spoke of a fundraiser. When is that going to happen and where?
We're at our annual April Randolph Gentle Warrior Awards Gala on February the 26th. It's presented by Wind Trust. We're so grateful for that. And it's going to be held at the Hyde Park Wind Trust Bank, 1525 East 53rd Street, 5 to 7. It's black tie, red carpet, and proof of vaccine is required. It's the standard that has been presented by the city, the mandated, and we're following that mandate. But I can guarantee you, when you come, you're going to have a wonderful time. And if you can't come, you can click on the link on our website and you can donate. And we may have a little surprise that we'll announce later for those who aren't able to attend. But we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We thank you for coming.
What do you all need from public, from the city? You know, what is your ask?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that. For me, we are in the heart of Pullman. We've been here for 27 years. We have never had support from the city or the state in order to make this happen. This all came out of entrepreneurial work, my speaking engagements, my books, private tours, traveling exhibits. We need financial support from those entities because they surely benefit from the tourism that comes. So we have people from all over the world who come here. And so things like sidewalks, simple, infrastructure, program support. Our staff is all volunteer, but that's because there are people who understand what this culture means and they're dedicated and they see what we're trying to do and they help. But it would be so wonderful to have funding, to have staff, and to be able to support the ongoing operations here, I'm getting old. And I won't be able to do a lot of those things. And so I'm grooming young people, but they may not be coming fast enough. So fast support from the city, state, and the federal government. The federal government poured billions of dollars into the north, to the south end of the community. It's like we don't even exist. But they claim the statistics, the African American statistics, to qualify for some of those billions of dollars. And we think it's only fair that some of that should come to this end of the community. So that we can help spread the word about what we're trying to do with culture to stop some of the violence.
You all formed this collective, and I'm just wondering if you could talk about why, not just what the individual, what you all might need from city or support, but why this collective? What do you want?
So we formed this collective last year when we were threatened by our alderman in our ward, in the 4th ward, Alderman Sophia King, to restrict the development of Black house museums. And we decided to come together to help to share with the public what we have to offer and to help support one another. And so this coalition is just that. It's a support group. We have other houses in the communities that we're talking to and working with, people from around the country who want to do this very same thing. And so our goal was to make Chicago the vanguard of this cultural renaissance and movement.
I'm Johnny Muhammad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My name is Johnny Muhammad with National Network Viewing.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to.
Can you say that again? Because somebody's phone was ringing.
Hold on 1 second, let her finish her.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you wouldn't mind saying that again, because the phone interrupted the sound.
Okay.
Thank you.
So our
About being the vanguard.
Sure. We wanted our group here in Chicago to be the vanguard of the cultural renaissance, the Black cultural renaissance that can be started around the country, where we're monetizing, preserving, and controlling our culture. As the proprietor of the Elijah Muhammad House, we were at the center of that controversy earlier last year, where people literally were saying that they did not want us on their block, but we're here. And there's rich culture there, there's divinity there, it's a sacred space, and we plan to open it to the public this summer. And you asked the question, what do we need? We need support. We certainly are not backed by any federal or government funds. Ours is, as well as Dr. Hughes, is all entrepreneurial contributions and work. And so we have coins that we're selling. We're doing some really amazing sustainability work in terms of transitioning and transforming old pieces of the property into copper coins. So you can go to our website, you can follow us, you can learn more about that. But that's what we need, your support. And we really want you all to come there to learn the true and real story about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and who, in fact, he really truly is. Yes, sir.
I know you're different entities, 4 or 5 different entities. Do you have a unified platform for people to donate?
No, we don't have a unified platform yet. And so Naomi's going to talk about one of our upcoming events that we're going to be having that I think you all will enjoy.
And I just wanted to congratulate you all as well. This is a cultural revolution. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan echoes that the nation can rise no higher than its woman. And so I just wanted to congratulate you all on the great work that you're doing as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to your question of what do we need, consider that we are zones of influence. We are able to generate revenues for the city of Chicago in tourism, one of the leading industries in the city. And we don't intend to do it on a dime. We demand, in fact, the respect and the reciprocity from the coffers of government, which we pay into. It is well understood that the return on investment of Black dollars is stymied, is paltry, and that the Black average household has 1/10 the wealth of our white crosstown cousins. So we understand the structures and the systems of financial genocide, and we're saying, as Mayor Lightfoot brings healing into the full center of her theme for this year, that healing will take place because Black love is real, and healing will take place when the city puts its money where its mouth is and begins to invest in the proportion of the deservedness, in proportion to the need, in proportion to the opportunity to bring returns to the city. So we say money, we say cash, we say land, we say bonds, we say in kind, we say bring it, we say bring it now, and we thank you for doing that. Our ancestors would require nothing less of us than to believe in faith. They say in the Negro church, the so-called Negro church, wait on your change to come. Well, we wait in faith. We see this change. We're moving the change with velocity right now. I want to announce also that at the Emmett and Mamie Till Mobley House Museum Garden and Theater, I know that it's a mouthful, but all of those components are deeply important. We are not only going to be renovating the property with a deep energy retrofit. That means that as the world removes carbon and fossil fuel infrastructure from homes, that rather than once again being the last and the least, stranded assets with escalating gas prices, converging to create more energy burden, that we're going to show the neighborhood, we're going to show the young people, we're going to show the enterprises how this new green economy can take full effect right where they live. And so by renovating Till House with a deep energy retrofit as a net positive building, we're going to be doing a service, another kind of economic service to the neighborhood. We'll have an EV charging station there, and the idea that we are a workforce builder in our neighborhood will soon be understood as well. And the last thing I'll say is, there was a trial in 1955, and the trial was a travesty. And Mamie Till Mobley dedicated her life to justice, and the federal government just closed its case on the murder of Emmett Till because apparently it just couldn't be solved. So we're here to redefine justice, and we're doing so by taking it down to the bedrocks. We know the civil rights movement was spawned by the work, the heart and soul of Mamie and those who rushed to support her. But what we are bringing back in full effect is the trial of Emmett Till in conjunction with Collaboration Theater on February 17th. We are having a Crucial Connections webinar event where we will be taking the actual trial transcript, which was lost for decades, and dramatizing that, and bringing a discussion forward for the young. Because if you can say Ahmaud Arbery, if you can say, how many names? Okay, let me hear that.
Sandra Bland, John Bell.
John Bell. Okay, we can say the names and say the names, but this is where it ends. And so please join us on February 17th by digital means. Come visit and sign the wall at the house, 6427 South St. Lawrence. West Woodlawn, Chicago's first Black middle-class neighborhood and stronghold of the Great Migration, stronghold of the settlers who came here and brought their traditions that we may live in harmony with the land and with each other. God bless us all, and God bless my sisters.
Can I ask you a quick question about that Emmett Till trial that you're talking about?
Yes.
Carolyn Bryant, the Caucasian woman that accused Emmett Till, she said that she lied. and she's still alive, I believe. Is she? Are they coming after her to bring her to justice? Do you know anything about that?
It's said that she recanted her confession, and the journalist who first reported it has not been able to call forth the kind of response to the confession he reportedly received to make justice real in this case. I think that the civil rights violations, the Title VI violations that have become routine in our society today will have to be the fulcrum on which the justice that we never got for Emmett will rise. We are not done with the story, and we will continue Mamie's tradition. We will have justice one way or the other. And as a lawyer, I say that, I say the proud granddaughter of Mississippi sharecroppers. How did my 9 aunts and uncles survive that time and place to go on to become great members of their communities and their families? How did we survive? You can take it back to Black love.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you all for giving us your time and attention today. We really appreciate you. We will be in touch regarding some of our upcoming events as our houses continue. Oh.
Please feel free to come by our properties if you are doing a news story. We'd love for you to be there. The Muddy Waters Mojo address is 4339 Southwest Park Avenue. Please give your address again.
6427 South St. Lawrence Avenue in historic West Woodlawn.
4847 South Woodlawn in the historic Kenwood District.
5128 South Michigan. And that's the Brownsville.
I think it's very significant that as you tell these stories, you show those properties, because we need to see that. People need to visually see these properties, see some of them that are still in distress, and support those that are standing as well. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get stay up there so we can get photos?
Yes.
You want to stand in front of the podium or behind?
Everybody right here? Can I have you all step up, Mr. Biggs?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, everybody right here? Everybody right here. On 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, ladies.
So,
Thank you so much, Leah.
Thank you.
I'm going to get in. I'm going to give my camera to Tiffany. I'll stay right there.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps us to highlight solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Go to NNVnews.com/donate.
Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world, with the exception of 9. That's power right there, if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base, and at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating His children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you are not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
AsiaticMinds.com. Online education, helping our children to discover their God-given skills, gifts, talents, and passion that will allow them to see their greatness, as well as the greatness of our people. And upon discovering that greatness, infusing them with the desire to use it for the betterment of themselves, their families, our people, and the world. 2022 through 23 enrollment waiting list open now. Visit AsiaticMinds.com.
Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNVnews, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at National Network View. I am Anissa Muhammad with NNVnews.com.